I'm in Nashville with the one and only Dolly Parton talking about her new book and her life.
And it's an ET exclusive.
9 to 5 for service and devotion.
Denny and Dolly, I like what
Dolly P and Denny D.
Double
I love
D.
it. Well, it's a dream come true to sit with you, Dolly, I have to say.
Oh, well, thank you.
I mean, you're an inspiration to so many people, and having read your book, I'm like, I could see a little bit of my story in there. You know, the grindstones and rhinestones that define my life.
We all kind of do have to do that. No matter what business we're in, we all got to work to get where we are.
If you have a dream, it takes a lot of work.
You got to work. As I've always said, you got a dream, you got to put wings and legs and feet and everything on it.
You put everything into it.
I do.
You put everything to it.
Jolene, Jolene, Jolene.
But you mentioned the sacrifices that come with being a star. You said, if I'm gonna get to where I wanna go, first thing you learned quickly was that you're gonna be working on holidays, right? So I wanna know, what's the one sacrifice people might be surprised to learn? And how did you feel, why did you feel that was necessary?
Well, I don't know that there's a specific one for me. Well, I never had children.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that's a sacrifice you make.
Right.
Although that was there was a lot of health reasons for that as well.
Sure.
But I think the fact that I miss time with family and friends, just like my song.
Yeah.
You know, 24/7, 365. But I was willing to make the sacrifice.
You wanted to.
And you give up time for all the things you don't really. I don't go on vacations. I don't hardly ever have time for any of that. But I was willing to do it, and so it's brought me here. And had I not spent that life that way, I would not have this book.
In Dolly's 336-page Star of the Show, My Life on Stage, out November 11th, she opens up about her biggest supporter on her journey to becoming a music icon, her late husband, Carl Dean.
Carl the day you arrived in Nashville.
I did. I've left 2 boyfriends back home thinking that's the last thing I'm going to meet up with a boy.
Is a boy.
I don't need a boy. Well, I got one that lasted 40 years.
That's so beautiful. What do you think it means that you met that really your love story began when your career began, your professional career began here in Nashville?
Well, I felt like I'm a very spiritual person.
Mm-hmm.
And I just felt like that was meant to be. I think God just, you know, if we pray the right way and if we think the right way, I think God places things in your life. But that's how I always looked at it with Carl. And I went to do my laundry. That was my first, that was the chore I had that day. And Carl just came riding by in his 62 Impala and just kind of whistled me down.
That's all it
because I waved.
You waved?
He thought I was, you know, I said, well, we're country people. You know, when somebody goes by, we wave. So anyway, that's kind of how it happened.
I love it. I also love the story of Carl crashing your Kentucky State Fair performance.
Oh, yeah.
I think it's hilarious. What was the reaction once he was detained?
Well, you know, Carl can't sing, and he loved the song Higher and Higher. He always loved that, and because he felt comfortable with my background singers at the time, so he had come to the Kentucky State Fair to see me, and he thought, well, I'm opening the show at 9 to 5, so I was listening, I was singing, and I thought, why the background singer sounded so bad?
And sure enough,
it was Carl singing with him, but because the noise and the band and the singing was so good, he thought he was sounding good too.
Yeah. I love it.
I know, but I called the security and I said, there's a guy back there in that shirt, that whatever shirt. I said, he's not with us, get him on stage. Because I was going to have to take Carl to jail and get him after the show was over.
Someone stopped him.
But my production manager at the time, he stopped me and said, that's
Dolly's husband. I love it.
But the great part about that, they snapped a picture and it was in the Kentucky paper the next day.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Is that the only time he's shared the stage with you?
That's the only time.
Okay. You know, your musical just opened in Nashville, too.
Yeah.
Congratulations, by the way.
Well, thank
What's
you.
it like to see it come to life on stage like that?
I get it very emotional, like the part about Carl, of course, but it's almost like John Bellman, who plays Carl, does such a wonderful job, but when they start singing and there's a song called From Here to the Moon and Back, I cry every time, but in a way it's kind of healing. To relive my life like that, to be able to sit back and watch it instead of having to live it.
Right, and see
you
someone
don't
else
know
play
what's
you.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Let them suffer a while. Hey.
I got to tell you, you know, there is a younger generation that knows you as Aunt Dolly from Hannah Montana.
Oh, yeah?
If you're gonna be mean, talk to the booty, 'cause the hand's off duty.
And Miley mentioned that, you know, she's planning some special celebration in honor of the 20th anniversary of the show. Is there a chance that we could see you and Miley share the screen together again?
Well, I hope so, because I love Miley. We're very connected, and we sing great together.
Yes, you do.
And I'm hoping that in the future we have more singing to do. And I'll do anything for Miley, and she does anything for me. So we're best buds too.
What do you remember about that time being on the Hannah Montana set and showing up for her?
Well, I thought it was great, and of course she was little then, young, and I was very close to Billy Ray, her dad.
Right.
That's how they was when I was touring with Billy Ray. Was when Miley's mother got pregnant with her. So that's one of the reasons I said this got to be my baby.
Yeah.
And so she's been my baby ever since.
It's so true.
Yeah, but she's so sweet, and I think she's so gifted, and I just am very proud of her.
Fans are speculating that Beyonce's next act, her next album, could be a rock album. And you did that. You dropped a rock and roll album.
I did.
I mean, what are your thoughts on
my
that?
version of it?
Yep.
Well, I mean, Beyonce can do anything. It'd be great.
Right.
I was really proud of her and her country album, and I was thrilled to death she did her version of my Jolene. But she wasn't as humble about hers as I was.
I'm begging of you, please, don't take my man.
You don't want this small to shoot your shot with someone else.
She was
I said,
going for
please
that.
don't take my man, and she was like, I'll kick your ass if you do.
Exactly.
You know? So that was a different take on the Jolene. But I mean, Beyonce would be great doing a hard rock album.
You can see it, right?
Of course.
Yes.
Anybody can see that.
Could we see the two of you possibly collaborate on another song together? A rock song?
If she asked me, I'll do it.
Yeah?
Yeah, of
I
course.
love it. I need to see you guys on stage together, too.
Oh, that would be cool.
I'm going to manifest that
Yeah,
one, Dolly. if
okay.
that's
Yeah, well, they
okay.
talk about me and Miley and Beyonce. That would be cool.
Come on. I know, isn't
But
it?
it would be, yeah. So who knows? I would say I learned how to run, but I never learned how to stop.
Exactly. Yeah, and you haven't stopped since.
I haven't.
You really haven't.
I'm not ready to stop yet either.
In my coat of many colors.
I think what's also guided you in your career is also your spirituality, Jesus, and you know, you've shared that backstage there's a ritual of prayer that's really important to you. What does that quiet moment before the spotlight mean to you?
Well, it's a lot. Somebody said, what do you do before you go on stage? I said, I pee and I pray.
Right.
And it's like, so, I mean, I always kind of have to gather myself. I just ask God to, you know, to let me shine with his light and to touch people's lives and to bless us and keep us safe. And I just kind of, then by the time the spotlight hits me, I mean, I'm back there pacing in my stall like a racehorse.
Yeah.
But as soon as I head out and the light hits me, I'm ready to go.
You know, you wrote that you've always had a dream in your heart and a gleam in your eye. Looking back now, how would your younger self think of the star that you've become?
I would think she'd be really proud. I
Right?
think it's everything she dreamed of and more so, because I had no idea back in the Smoky Mountains about that whole world out there. I mean, I only knew that world in the mountains in my very young years of dreaming. But it's been so much more than I even could have imagined, and we pay so much for it, like we saw in the sacrifice.
Sacrifices.
But it's worth it for someone that has that dream.